Hello fellow Helldivers, Thornton here, and today we are doing a little bit of crack climbing. That being said, we are going to be talking about the brand new Warbond coming to the game, but also a rebel faction and what it means for the future. But without further ado, let's jump into today's topic.
So Helldivers, it's pretty exciting. Next week we're getting a brand new Warbond called Control Group, and I'm gonna be honest, this one is pretty cool. Now the armor sets are the AD-49 Apolorian and Bleeding Edge. Something the developers did want to let you guys know about this is both armor sets feature a new and exciting passive, Adreno Defibrillator. After you take lethal damage, it goes ahead and detects that the user has collapsed, and it has one charge to bring you back to maximum health, and the user will begin losing health continually after activating it. So basically it'll allow you to survive a little bit longer. It's pretty cool. Now going back to it, there is a brand new primary weapon, the VG-70 variable, and one of the balance steps let us know it has 7 barrels, each has its own magazine with 7 rounds each, so up to 49 rounds in a single wallop. Now of course there's a new stratagem, the Plas 45 Epoch, a Lift 182 Warp Pack, and a new Laser Sentry, which I'm super excited about. Something you're going to want to know about the Warp Pack is, one, it looks like we've actually taken the Illuminate technology, which is absolutely fantastic, but it will come with a little bit of a drawback. The first jump is safe, the next one has minor complications, the third one has major complications. You can wait between jumps to let it cool down. However, it looks like by the third one, you're going to be taking yourself out alongside the enemies, kind of like a kamikaze. It's like the portable hell bomb, but a little bit more fun with the teleporting technology. I'll be interested to see how it works. Along with that, there's going to be, of course, your player banners, capes, emotes, and victory poses, and a new player title called Exemplary Subject, and utilities such as a G31 arc. Now, of course, with all that cool stuff, I am very excited, but today we're going to be talking about a Super Earth rebellion, as it does look like there is a possibility of a fourth faction coming after the Illuminate, and it might actually be our own citizens, so let's dive into it. The battle for Super Earth has been won. The Illuminate were vanquished. As most of us know, the president was killed in action while actually defending it, fighting off the Illuminate. And something very perplexing happened. There was a brand new election for the new president under the Minister of Defense. However, no player can seem to recall actually voting for him. In a managed election, that has a lot of players kind of scratching their heads. And one, we know that there is going to be a presidential election in the near future. We've gone over the game files. But there's something that a lot of players are kind of curious about now. Could the fact that a president was elected without us actually knowing lead to a rebellion? And will there be a fourth faction after the Illuminate, such as the Super Earth Rebels? And we have a couple of stuff that points towards yes. Ironsights let us know that rebels exist alongside civilians as NPCs in the game files. Not sure when, if they will be added. It appears to be leftover content from early development. He went ahead and gave us a little bit more information, such as there are rebels in the files, but that might not really be considered a full faction. They are classified under Super Earth. I'd love to see environment-based sub-factions like we saw in early concept art. Seeing these automatons in forests would be so cool, and it is actually a very cool image. But that makes me wonder, if they're not going to be a full force faction, then what exactly are they going to be? And Asunder actually went ahead, who's another notable data miner, and thinks that rebels are just a story plot device, and I think that would line up perfectly with the whole presidential election thing, as most rebellions are actually formed because members of the society don't agree with what the government has done. That being said, they're probably going to have to face the wall, but there is a ton of stuff found in the files that seem to indicate there is going to be a large story plot revolving around this, and it might be something we might be fighting in the very near future. But in case you guys didn't know, there are a ton of factions right now within Super Earth. There is the Ministry of Humanity, Ministry of Prosperity, Ministry of Expansion, Ministry of Unity, Ministry of Science, and Ministry of Intelligence, but no one really needs that, Ministry of Truth, and of course, the Ministry of Defense. Now, all those actually have specific mission and goals found in the game files. For instance, the Ministry of Science is constantly pushing Super Earth technology forward and ensures our security over our enemies. As we know, we are going to be getting new types of weapons and a science officer. It makes sense that we're going to see this faction pop up pretty soon. Of course, the Ministry of Defense is responsible for the defense of Super Earth against external threats. It manages the Super Earth armed forces, which we'll probably see when that new mansion comes in with the President files and we have to defend Super Earth itself. The Ministry of Unity ensures all of mankind is united as one and protects us from internal threats such as deviant behavior and expression of dangerous ideas. Fun enough, there is a rebel faction found in the NPC files, so it does look like Ministry of Unity is going to have some work to do, as that enemy faction will be coming in the near future. Of course, the Ministry of Expansion tirelessly works to increase Super Earth's reach and secure vital resources for our society to thrive, and the Ministry of Truth is responsible for keeping all citizens well informed and mentally equipped to withstand our enemies' vile propaganda. And if you disagree with that, well, you need to go see your nearest democracy officer, because they'd like to have a word with you. However, it's not just Super Earth that has a plethora of factions that are going to be coming into the game in the very near future. When we look at the galactic map, we notice that currently it is divided in such a way that there is going to be room for more factions, meaning that there will be something coming after the Illuminate. But the question is, well, what is it going to be? And it appears that there is a person or a architect, if you will, that is running the game behind the scenes and could be actually be responsible for also a fourth faction as well, at least according to some current theories. One that I liked by Asunder is that he's controlling all of them. This is all a giant war against Super Earth. Now, the first thing to go over is that there are a lot of people that are hoping we get rebels in the game, and it's very possible that that is an actual option, because Ironsight's pointed out that in the files right now, there is an NPC type named Rebels. And what's important to know is that cyborgs in the original Helldivers game were the rebels, and they were a product of Super Earth. Ironsight's broke down pretty easily what's going on with the rebel faction, because there is a gentleman called the Architect, as we mentioned, that seems to be the creator of the bots. It is going to be fairly far away, and it was possibly sourced from the second group of cyborg researchers that fled from Cyberstan during the 100-year raid. These researchers then formed the Automaton Development Group. However, it's unknown right now if the Architect is even human, and file strings speculate being an entirely new alien race, though that is speculated by the NPCs that are also in the game. We've actually seen science officers NPCs that we went over in a video the other day. They look to be part of an ongoing crew progression system that would be really cool coming in the near future. There's also this other really cool transmission, and it will give you a little bit more lore and insight and go into a little bit further of what Ironsight is actually talking about into the Cyborg Menace.
History matters. After the First Galactic War, Super Earth kindly allowed the cyborg secessionists to live, giving them stable work deep within the mines of Cyberstan. But, twisted by their implants, the cyborgs sought their revenge by creating the Automaton Legion.
So it's very clear that the cyborgs went to Cyberstan, created the automatons to fight us, but that the Architect might actually be one of those units, and he also seems like he could be involved in the evolution of the bugs in some capacity. As Ironsight says, one of the NPCs says the Architect is involved with the evolution of bugs in some ways. I mean, that's a pretty clear-cut thing going on right now. So while I do think it is possible there's going to be a rebel faction that could be the fourth one, I like the idea that it's going to be an entirely new race. Symbiotes would be very cool, and that the rebels will be more of a side faction slash mini faction that pops up from time to time. It doesn't make sense to really have us fight humans when there are so much more deadly threats. Although when we look at how we're doing in the war, we're probably the most deadly. We're gonna go ahead and jump into some community clips now. Don't forget to submit your own to me at Thorn Smash on Twitter, but without further ado, let's roll.
Let me know down below, guys, what are your thoughts on a rebel faction, and what do you think about the upcoming Warbond? Also, don't forget to check out the video in the top left corner where I cover more news on Helldivers 2 on the daily. And until next time, everyone, please stop by. Keep spreading managed democracy.